Welcome everyone to another episode of BOS Talk. I am Satyam, founder of BrainoScript and host for this episode of BOS Talk. In this episode, we are going to talk about Bhagavad Geeta in real life. We have a special guest for this, Sri Prabhu Radhapada Das. He's the president of ISKON temple, and today he's going to tell us about the teachings and learnings of Bhagavad Geeta and how we can implement it in our life. Without wasting any further time, let's get into the episode. Here we go. Live, we can edit it. So if you want a sip of water, you can take it, be comfortable, right? Okay. What should I address you with, like Guruji or Rampatji? What do you want me to?
Generally, we address each other as Prabhu.
Prabhu.
Says that you are my master. So when I address myself, I'll call myself Radhapada Das because I am your servant, Krishna's servant. So being part and parcel of Krishna, we are related to each other. So we address each other as Prabhu in our organization.
Okay.
And so that's our Vaishnav culture.
All right.
You just call me Radhapada Prabhu. That will work.
Radhapada Prabhu.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you so much, Radhapat Prabhuji, for being here in this show, in this podcast. And I'm really looking forward to know more about Srimad Bhagavad Geeta, to know more about ISKCON as well, to know more about your journey. So as we will start with your journey itself. So I just want to know, I've just got to know that you passed out from NIT. Okay. So I'm very curious about how this journey start, where it started, how you end up becoming into ISKCON, being a saint, and how you choose this journey.
So Hare Krishna, thank you Satyamji for inviting me on your podcast. As you mentioned, I passed out from NIT Bhopal. Yes, I was born and brought up in Madhya Pradesh, and I grew up in Bhopal. And my parents are doctors. I come from a family of doctors.
Wow.
I chose engineering because I was not so much akin to getting into patients' troubles and the physical component of it somehow. So I chose engineering as a career, and eventually I passed out from NIT Bhopal. I worked in Delhi for 2 years. Now, when I was working there, even prior to that, I got in touch with ISKCON, especially with Srila Prabhupada's books, Bhagavad Geeta in particular. And when I was reading Bhagavad Geeta, I could understand that there is a higher purpose to life. There is a higher meaning to life. And throughout all these years, I had been searching for a meaning. Okay, I'm doing something. I am getting into certain activity, but then what is the purpose of that? Why am I getting into what am I getting into? And what is the reason for that? And then I was thinking, where will I find the purpose? And I inquired from many people. I went through many books. And as usually happens, I was not satisfied. Somehow, everyone else I see in my vicinity, they were satisfied, they were happy, they were chilling out, having nice time. But then I was, certainly I was not so satisfied. When I read Bhagavad Gita, I could understand that, yes, there's a purpose of life. And what is that purpose? The purpose of life is higher than what is being taught in our universities and schools and society all around. So is that purpose always establishes us in selflessness. So it was kind of a higher fulfillment that I began to experience once I got into the pursuit of Bhagavad Gita. And then I chose to become a saintly person, or to get into this dress. I'm still trying to become a saintly person. I'm not yet one. But then once I took to the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, I could understand that, yes, they are practically applicable in life. And one does not need to get into those Himalayan stories and go somewhere up in seclusion, try for self-realization. No, all those methods are not really adaptable for people in this modern age. So we can stay in the cities in a very comfortable, cozy environment, and still we can be spiritual. Being spiritual does not necessarily mean accepting unnecessary troubles. But yes, it does mean that we change our consciousness, to change our goals, to clarify the purpose in life. And that's what I got from Bhagavad Gita. So I chose to become a full-time preacher of Bhagavad Gita because Sharing this message with everyone is giving me inner satisfaction. It is giving me fulfillment. And definitely those who are hearing the message are also benefited in some or the other. So that's why I chose to come on this path.
Yeah. So even I am very curious about to know more about Bhagavad Gita. First of all, I just want to know just provide me the overview of Bhagavad Gita and its significance in someone's personal growth.
Yeah. So Bhagavad Gita basically talks about 5 subject matters. First, it talks about Ishvara or the controller.
Okay.
Then it defines about Jiva or the living entity. Third, it
Okay.
talks about Kala or time, eternal time. Fourth, it talks about the material nature, the place where we are in. And
Yeah.
fifth, it talks about karma.
Dharma.
Now, out of these 5, karma is changeable. Karma is it is not permanent. All other 4 are permanent. Ishvara, God is
Right.
permanent. Jiva, living entities, us, all of us, we are permanent.
Right.
Kala, time is permanent. Material nature itself is permanent, although it is manifest and unmanifest at certain times, but still it is permanent in its existence. But karma is susceptible to change, and karma is not eternal. It means karma has a beginning and karma has an end.
And
So Bhagavad Gita basically addresses these 5 topics.
okay, so let's
And
talk about
through-
karma.
Yeah, and through Bhagavad Gita, an important thing which we can learn is there are so many things to learn,
Yes.
but most important thing we get to learn is about dharma, or what is our duty in life. So we can define it in terms of personal dharma, and we can define it in terms of a higher dharma, which pertains to something which is beyond me, right? Beyond
Right.
bodily platform, beyond what I see myself as or what I address myself as. There is
Okay.
nitya dharma and there is naimittik dharma. So we can dwell on that later on.
Yeah, I'll come to that. Before that, let's talk about karma. There's a concept called karma yoga in Bhagavad Gita, and what is it and how it can help someone to get success in life.
Okay, I'll keep it very simple. In Bhagavad
Yeah.
Gita, Krishna talks about karma. So first of all, before getting into karma yoga, we must understand what is karma and what is yoga. So
Okay.
karma is defined in Bhagavad Gita as those activities which make us accept a new body. Bhuta
Okay.
bhava karo visargaha karma sangita. Those activities which lead me to accept a new body are known as karma.
Okay.
Any activity which I do will always have its reactions. Either it is enjoyment, which are known as punya, or it will lead to suffering, which is known as papa.
Pap.
Either punya or pap. These are the
Right.
2 kinds of results of karma.
True.
So any karma will lead to either piety or sin, right? So any karma will lead me to take another birth, get again into this cycle of birth and death. And since it is called as a cycle, it is repeatable in nature, and it keeps going on and on and on and on and on.
Right.
Now we understand what is yoga. Yoga means, Srila Prabhupada defines yoga as the linking process with the Supreme. Like in Hindi we say, दो और दो का योग कितना है? तो 4 है. So योग plus addition.
Right.
We connect ourselves with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna.
Okay.
That is known as yoga.
Yoga.
So we can connect karma with Krishna, it will be known as karma yoga. We can connect jnana with Krishna, it will be known as jnana yoga. We can connect the physical component of yoga, which is very popular nowadays, Ashtanga yoga.
Right.
When it is connected with Krishna, the aim of that is to attain Krishna, it becomes Ashtanga yoga. So anything can become yoga when it is linked with
The Supreme Power.
Supreme
Krishna.
Lord, the Yogeshwara, Krishna.
Got it.
Now we'll join these 2 terms. We'll join these 2 terms, karma and yoga.
Karma yoga.
When we do karma for Krishna, when we give the results of our karma to Krishna, then it becomes karma yoga. We do certain activities which are prescribed in the scriptures, in our Vedic scriptures, and when we offer the results of those activities to Krishna, then they become karma yoga.
Okay. Got it. Okay, let's talk about karma a little bit more. like you आपने बोला कि there is a punya, there is a pap. Okay, it's depend upon your karma. So what I think is it depends upon the circumstance. It depends upon person to person. Like for maybe for someone that karma is not pap, and for other that is pap. So how one can define that? What is how I can get pap or punya?
Okay. So karma is the basically the activity, and papa
Yes.
or punya is the result of that.
Result. Yeah.
Okay. So by doing certain activities, we enjoy, and by doing another sort of activities, we tend to suffer.
Right.
So enjoyment and suffering, these are the results of karma. Now the
Okay.
question is, what kind of karma is prescribed? Is
Right.
that what you want to ask?
Yes.
So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna defines karma as that which has been enjoined by our Vedic scriptures. Now, you see, this concept of varnashram comes in, wherein there are 4 varnas and 4 ashramas. There are 4
Okay.
stages of life. There is a celibate stage of life, brahmacharya. After that, one gets into householder life, grihastha.
Right.
And then there is a mode of retirement, which is known as vanaprastha. And finally, one leaves everything and just dedicates himself completely to attain the supreme person, and that is known as sannyas. So these are the 4 social orders of life, 4 spiritual orders of life, and then there are 4 social orders. Now, as a part of occupation, one may be Brahminical in his approach, which means he likes to study a lot, he likes to do research work, right? He do some brainy stuff. So basically, he's a.
Right.
Then there is a class of people who want to do something on a physical platform. They want to do management, they want to do administration, they want to fight, they are go-getters, like passionate people.
Right.
So they are Kshatriyas by nature. Then there is a class of men who are into commerce and trading, want to make money. So they are basically Vaishyas. And then there is a class of people who can do only physical labor. Even they are needed, otherwise how will the society function?
True.
So basically, Srila Prabhupada compares them to the 4 parts of our body. Brahmanas are compared to the head, Kshatriyas are compared to the arms, Vaishyas are compared with the belly, which provides for the body, and Shudras are compared with the legs.
Legs.
So we cannot say that one can stay without one body part, right? In body, we require head, we require
everything.
arms, we require belly, we require legs. So similarly, in a society, for its proper functioning, we require these 4 class of people.
Wow.
That is known as occupation. Now, depending upon our psychophysical nature, say for instance, we are influenced by the mode of goodness, which is known as satogun. Then we tend to do activities which are more refined in nature, which require more brain work, more thinking. They are philosophical in nature, so they are brahmanas. Then there's a class of men who will do more physical activity, who will like to manage others, who will like to control others and like to direct others, and they are strategic in nature, and then they can get things done. They're diplomatic, they are courageous. So this kind of people fall into the mode of passion. Then there's a mixed mode of passion and ignorance. Mode of passion is Rajogun. The third category of people, although they are passionate, but the passion is not so much that they can go and just capture.
Okay.
You do whatever I say. Yahan meri chalegi.
Right.
Kshatriya. They want to enjoy, but they do not have the physical ability or the power to
Do so.
and grab it.
Okay.
What do they do? They use the monetary benefits. I mean, they use the money to get the get desired object of enjoyment, and that's how they fulfill their desires. So they are in the mixed modes of passion and ignorance. And then there are those who are they are dominated by the mode of ignorance, and they can work only when directed by others. So then they need direction in every single activity. They are not independent minded. They are always dependent on others. So they are basically Shudras. So it is not by birth, but it is by our psychophysical nature. So Varnashrama caters to this. Now comes in the role of karma. What kind of karma we should do? So it depends on our psychophysical nature. So therefore, the modes we are dominated by, we are predominantly in, the modes we are affected by, and the kind of activities we do, that defines what kind of occupation I will choose in my life. So basically, karma is defined as prescribed duty. In Bhagavad Gita, karma has been defined as prescribed duty. So that which has been prescribed by the scriptures according to my psychophysical nature.
Yes.
so that I can be happy in my life. Someone is an artist and all his life he is just typing on computers, writing some codes. He may not be so content. But what to do in today's world? You cannot really make a living by just being dependent on your art. So how to make a living? But Varnashrama deals with that. So Bhagavad Gita deals with this subject matter very elaborately, and by reading it, definitely we can get a glimpse into what will really fulfill us depending on our makeup, mental and physical nature.
Okay. So, wow. Okay. All right. So let's talk now about dharma, because like for us, for normal people, for citizens, if I ask someone that what is your dharma, he'll say like Hindu or Muslim, or like he compare it with religion. Okay, that's what normal people think about dharma, right? So, but I know that definitely it is not the religion, it is something else. So I just want you to define what exactly dharma is.
Okay, it's a very interesting question, oftenly asked. Dharma refers to our constitutional position, or it refers to our very inherent nature, which cannot be changed. Say, for instance,
Okay.
the dharma of sugar is sweetness, right? The dharma of salt is salty taste, right? The dharma of say lemon is to be sour.
Right. True, true.
So if you take out the sour taste from the lemon, then you cannot really call it lemon, right? The
Yes.
dharma of fire is to give light and heat. So
Mhm.
dharma is basically our intrinsic nature, which cannot be changed. It defines my existence. So everything has its intrinsic nature, right? Everyone has his or her intrinsic nature, which cannot be changed. So that is known as dharma. So that is one definition of dharma. Another definition of dharma given in Bhagavatam is dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam, which means
Okay.
dharma is the rules and regulations given by God. So whatever
Okay.
God utters, whatever he says, that becomes the dharma.
Kind
So
of
that,
law.
yes, the law or whatever,
Yes.
Bhagavad Vani, whatever he says, that becomes the dharma. So that is another definition of dharma. And
Okay.
dharma is of two kinds. One is nitya dharma and one is naimittik dharma. We can do a small exercise here. Can you
Yeah,
raise your,
please.
please touch your forehead.
Like this.
Yeah. Please touch your ears, touch your nose, touch your beard, touch your shoulders, touch your belly. Now touch yourself.
I'm touching myself only.
No, but what you are touching? You are touching
The physical
your
body.
body.
Yeah.
Where am I?
Right.
Right? So my existence is something beyond this physical form, which is perceivable by eyes, by my senses.
Okay.
In Bhagavad Gita, that has been defined as Atma.
Right.
Right from our childhood, we had a different body. We are changing the bodies all the time. And when death appears, when death happens, then we say the person is gone. तो वो तो चल बसे. कौन थे, कहाँ चल बसे? So definitely the person who left was different from the physical form that he left behind. Otherwise, why do we burn the physical form?
True.
Had this been my real existence, then why would I have burnt it? So we continue to exist even after death.
Death.
That is the very first proposition of Bhagavad Gita. We are not these physical bodies that we can see. We are something beyond this physical body. And that has been defined as Atma. So then physical body is perishable by nature. So the dharma of physical body is also perishable by nature. So what in today's society is termed as Hindu, Muslim or Christian or whatever, that is perishable by nature. But my real dharma is, since me, the Atma, is eternal by nature, the dharma of Atma will also be eternal. In Sanskrit, we call eternal dharma as Sanatan Dharma. So Sanatan Dharma is that which deals with my Atma, my soul, with myself. Okay. So Sanatan Dharma is not limited to just some slogans and no. Sanatan Dharma is much more than that. Sanatan Dharma begins with the inquiry about soul. And when we start talking about soul, it is then that we get into the discussions on Sanatan Dharma. So Sanatan Dharma discussions must begin with Atma and Atma's relationship with God, Krishna.
Okay.
So basically, my dharma, which defines my relation with this physical form, is naimittic dharma. It is temporary dharma, and my real dharma, or the dharma which deals with my soul, is known as nitya dharma or sanatan dharma. So sanatan dharma is that which talks about the subject matter of talking is soul, atma.
Okay, Atma. Yeah, it's deep actually. All right. Bhagavad Gita also talks about ideal leader.
Right.
Okay. So how one can apply those principles in their professional life and being a good leader, better leader.
See, there are many principles which are highlighted by Bhagavad Gita when it comes to leadership. But one principle which I would like to discuss about is the principle of being exemplary.
Okay.
Bhagavad Gita defines it as yad yad achariti shreshthas tat tat eva itaro jana. So as whatever a great man does, common people follow in suit. Whatever he does is taken as the pramana. Sayat pramanam kurute lokastad anuvartate. Whatever exemplary actions he performs, people take it as the standard. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So Srila Prabhupada says in the very first line to the purport, he says that if someone is a smoker,
Mm-hmm.
do not tell others to quit smoking. Right? And basically, this is the verse which is used by the marketing industry to promote so many things across the world. If you want to sell something, just get a person who is a celebrity and get him to do anything, show I'm using this stuff, and then it goes around.
It goes around. People follow.
Right. So basically, leadership means leading by example. So there are three things which are very important, or I would say inherent to leadership. First thing is having a vision. Second thing is being able to share that vision with others. And third thing is being able to facilitate the people who are sharing the vision with me. So just being visionary is not enough. Just being visionary is the first step. Second thing is being able to share my vision with others. They should also see what I'm seeing right now. What will happen, say, 50 years down the line. So that is sharing my vision. But even more important than that is, in order to achieve that vision, I should be able to facilitate my followers or my peers or my colleagues, whatever you call them, to achieve that vision. So that is leadership in its totality.
Right, true.
Professional, be it on a personal level. So Bhagavad Gita talks about that.
And facilitating means providing a action step kind of thing, how to get that vision.
Definitely. It means providing the material resources. It means helping in the planning, helping in the execution. Now, the leader may not do everything personally, physically, but then he inspires others and he tells how to go, what is the way forward, and then people go ahead.
Yeah, and that's great actually. Even Bhagavad Gita talks about action and detachment. Okay. So what we think is these are two different poles, right? If you're ambitious, then you must looking for something, some outcome. So you can't detach yourself from the outcome. But Bhagavad Gita teaches that you have to be ambitious as well as you have to detach yourself from outcomes. So how this particular concept can help us to grow?
Yeah, it's a very frequently asked question. It seems contradictory. Unless and until we have some ambition, how can we, unless and until we are attached to something, how can we gain it? I am motivated, I am inspired by a certain goal. And if I am not concerned about the goal, then where do I get the ambition to achieve it? Where do I get the passion to achieve it? So certainly Bhagavad Gita is not talking about that. It's a misconceived notion about the Gita. Basically, Bhagavad Gita talks about Niskama Karma. So Niskama Karma, what does it mean? That I perform my actions as a matter of duty, but I'm not attached to the results, which means I perform my actions because I'm supposed to do them, because I have been petitioned by someone, I have been given that duty, that responsibility by someone, because I love someone, I have a relationship with someone, and he has given me that responsibility on his behalf to carry out a certain function, and I do it for his pleasure. But since he has petitioned me, so whether I'm successful or not, that is not really concern for me. because I'm doing
Right.
it for him,
For
for his
someone
pleasure,
else. Yes.
and he's the facilitator, as we previously discussed.
Right.
So it is he who will help me to succeed or to fail. So
So
it,
we dedicate every effort to
yes,
Krishna or Supreme Power.
yeah. So Krishna is a person. He's a
Yes.
he's the supreme personality of Godhead, and
Right.
we do activities for his pleasure. And he is the facilitator. He is the one who gave me the vision, and he is the
True.
one sharing the vision with me. Now
Wow.
he is facilitating. Now success or failure depends upon him. Now on my part, what should I do? On my part, I should not be attached to the success or failure itself, but I should be attached to carrying out the functions for his pleasure.
I'm just following.
Do you get it?
Yes, yes, definitely. I'm just following the whatever, he defines me. I'm just walking the path and he defines me the path where to go. Right. Wow. That's great perspective. And I hope that everyone should think like that only while doing anything, while achieving anything, and while working for anything. All right. So yeah, you talk about Niskam Karma, right?
Yeah.
Selfless action.
Selfless action. So basically, being selfless means again not dwelling on the results of the activity itself, but being more focused about I have to uh, I have to satisfy the person who has
Right.
given me the responsibility at the first place. So I do the actions as if the result depends on me. I do the actions as if everything depends on me.
Right.
But when it comes to getting the results, I
I
am
detach
as
myself.
if everything depends on him.
Okay.
You get the point. When I
Right,
do
right.
activity, it is like a cat carrying the kitten in her mouth. Mhm.
Mhm.
So the kitten is completely at the mercy of the cat. So when it comes to
Yes.
the results, it is like I am completely on mercy of Krishna. Now whether
Mhm.
you make me a failure or you make me successful, it depends on you. But when I do the activity itself, it is like a small monkey who is hanging on to her mother, and the mother is jumping from this tree to that tree, from this branch to that branch. So the mother is not really holding on to the baby. It is the baby who is holding on to the mother. So when we do the activities, our attitude should be as if everything depends on my endeavors.
Right.
When it comes to the results, we are like as if everything depends on the cat, on the mother. Now, wherever she'll carry me, I'm ready to go. I'm totally surrendered.
Wow. Yeah. And even the top global leaders talk about this nowadays.
Yeah.
Detach yourself from the results. Don't think much about results. Yes. Bhagavad Gita also talks about the senses, controlling your senses and having control in your senses. So how, because it is difficult. So how one can get this discipline, be this disciplined, so that they can control the senses, and how it can help them.
So it's a central theme of Bhagavad Gita, controlling the senses. And Krishna uses a very good analogy to explain it. He says, uh, one must be like a tortoise. So when the
Okay.
tortoise wants to swim, he takes out his limbs from his or her from its shell,
Mm-hmm.
swims and does whatever he does. And then when he does not want to do anything, he just
Yeah.
folds inside.
Yeah. Inside the shell.
Yeah. So senses must be used like that. So I should be in control of my senses. Whenever I want to use them for certain activity, to gain something, to achieve something, then I use them to their fullest extent. But when something which is not favorable to getting to my goal, some impediment comes, some allurement comes, then I should
Mm-hmm.
to gather my senses inside. I should be able to withdraw them. So that is the analogy given by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita.
Okay.
Since when it comes to sense control, he says uh, all the senses are only they are a source of misery. यही संस्पर्शेषा भोगा दुख योन एवते.
Mm-hmm.
Because adya antavanta konte. It has an adi, it has a beginning. Sense pleasure has a beginning and it has an end.
And
Natishtamate Buddha. The intelligent man does not delve into it.
okay. So whatever has end, so definitely you can't depend on that particular thing, because ultimately you have to suffer
Yeah.
whenever it ends.
So putting it in the right perspective, sense pleasure has a beginning and end.
Okay.
So therefore it is misery from beginning to end.
Okay.
Does not stay with me, right? Eternal
Right.
happiness or eternal pleasure, which means it should stay with you. There's no beginning, there's no end. It only increases with every step. So that is real happiness. Generally, in this world, we define happiness as fulfillment of desires. Now, fulfillment of desires, more or less, in this world pertains to fulfilling my sensual pleasures. Say, for instance, I love a piece of cake and I munch on it.
Right.
I mean, how many kgs of cake can I engulf? There's a limit to it.
Not much. Yeah.
So when 2 or 3 pieces of cake would give me pleasure, more such sense enjoyment will lead to miseries. So it has a beginning and it has an end. So it
Right.
is really enjoyment in the real sense of the word. Whereas Bhagavad Gita says real enjoyment is that which is atyantikam.
What is that?
It is transcendental to our physical form.
Okay.
Sukham atyantikam yattat. So real pleasure is that which is eternal in nature, which has no beginning and no end, and it increases at every step, and it is perceivable by our soul. So on a physical form, we enjoy things, and we feel pleasure, we seek pleasure in them. Now on a mental platform, since mind is subtler than the body, we do enjoy, but we enjoy it on a very subtle level, and it is more acute in nature. Why? Because it is very subtle. Say, for instance, someone likes to eat samosa and you munch on samosas physically. So you love it. But when you think of eating samosas, you eat them, say, 15 times, 20 times, 100 times over. And we enjoy more eating in the mind itself, in our thoughts. Dwelling on those thoughts gives us more pleasure than the physical act of actually munching on it. What is the reason for that? Why is it more? Because it is subtle in nature. So it is more acute. Now, soul is even smaller or subtler than the mind. So the happiness perceived on the level of the soul is even more acute. And it is that happiness which really fulfills our inner self. So in order to accomplish that level of happiness, we should definitely try to control our senses. Again, how can we control our senses? So again, we get back to the first question that we began with, purpose. When we have a purpose in life, say for a big singer, they may like to get munch onto ice creams and halwas and this and that and stuff. But if it is not favorable for their throat, they will avoid it.
So
there is
they are focused in one thing, in one purpose.
So either it is by force or it is by choice. So better by choice than by force.
True. Agree. And what is that, like, what is that purpose? What is that ultimate pleasure?
Okay. So basically we can break it down into 2 levels. One is purpose of life, and there are purposes in life.
Okay.
So purpose of life as per Bhagavad Gita is to satisfy the Supreme Personality, to satisfy God, to satisfy Krishna. That is the purpose of life. Now, purposes in life may mean for us professional growth, personal growth, making money, having a house in a big luxurious mansion in a big what do you say, big posh area, right? Having facilities in life. So these are purposes in life, and then there is purpose of life, having a good health, having good family relations and whatnot. So if all these purposes in life are aligned with the purpose of life, then both are in synchronization. Then they are in sync. Otherwise, what happens is it just derails. Because purpose of life is something else and my purposes in life are something else, and then there's a contradiction. So my purposes in life should lead me to the purpose of life. That is the central message of Bhagavad Gita.
So how can one, like, who have duties to do, who have things to do, how one can align those 2 purposes together?
So first of all, we should decide on the purpose of life. Once we have the true north, as they call it, the true guiding principle, once you have the GPS set in and you understand I'm getting into the right direction, now getting there is just a matter of time. Someone may get there faster, someone may take his own sweet time. So if I'm getting at the right place, I may take more time given I'm getting at the right place. So purposes in life must be aligned with the purpose of life. So first thing we must decide is, what is the purpose of my life? And then we have these milestones, purpose in life. It may be marriage, it may be my career, it may be getting
True.
into social position. I have my professional goals and ambitions and whatnot. So Bhagavad Gita is not saying don't be ambitious. Why not? Be ambitious. You
Right.
can win over the world. But then have a purpose of life. Just do not be like driving in Kolkata with a map of Delhi. So you'll
Right.
not anywhere. Although one may be an expert driver, one may be following all the rules and regulations of the traffic. But then if one does not roam, one does not know where he's headed towards, then it's like
Yeah, he can't go anywhere.
he's lost.
Lost. Yeah, true. Bhagavad Gita also talks about surrender yourself to higher power, trust the higher power. Okay, so how does this faith, right, help them to grow and to get things in life?
The final message of Bhagavad Gita is surrender, sarva dharman parityajya.
Mhm.
So surrender everything, just give up whatever is going on in the name of religion. Give it up, sarva dharman parityajya, mamekam sharanam vraja, come to me.
Okay.
I will take care of you in every respect. Do not fear. So that is the message given by Krishna. So surrendering, how does surrender come? Surrender can come only when we have a relationship with that person unto whom we are trying to surrender.
Surrender.
Know him properly. Unless and until we know someone properly, how can we surrender? So in
True.
order to surrender unto him, first of all, we should know about him. We should know his name. We should know his parents' name. We should know his address. We should know his mobile number. We should have a communication with him. Right?
Mhm.
Unless until we have a relationship with him, how can we actually surrender? So the first thing that we need to do is develop this sambandh again. In terms of management, nowadays they call it having a mission. What am I? Where am I at? What am I doing right now? And
Mhm.
then next is having a vision. Where am I headed towards?
Right.
And once I have the vision clear in mind, then I can define what is the means to get there. So now the Vedic knowledge defines it in terms of sambandh again, as I already mentioned. Then comes prayojana or the vision where I want to go to. And then comes abhidheya, the means to get to it. So
Okay.
sambandha, abhidheya and prayojana. Mission, where am I at right now? I am in, say, Panihati, Kolkata, West Bengal.
Right.
And say I want to get to Delhi. So Delhi will be my vision.
Mhm.
And then there are so many ways to get to Delhi. I can take a train, I can board a flight,
Yes,
I can
yes, yes.
have a car, I
The
can walk.
mode.
There are so many ways.
All right. Okay, the last thing. Okay, let's talk about seva, to service, to help people. Bhagavad Gita also talks about seva and how doing a service for someone else can help people.
Definitely. So Bhagavad Gita, when it comes to Seva, Bhagavad Gita basically talks about being compassionate. See, nowadays the environment is we tend to enjoy things and use people.
Yeah.
Whereas we are meant to serve people and we are meant to enjoy things. Right? But we are doing exactly the opposite. So Bhagavad Gita basically tells us that we must deal with compassion. And how does that compassion come from? For being compassionate to others, one must be able to love others first. How can we develop that love? When we see that connection. So when we accept Krishna as the Supreme Father, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, unless we accept him as the Father, how can there be a mutual sense or feeling of brotherhood? When I see him as the Supreme Father, only then I can behave with the other person as my brother or sister. So first of all, we need to accept that, yes, God, Krishna is the Supreme Father. And in relation to him, there are so many brothers and sisters across the world.
Right.
Now, when I see that my brother is suffering, whereas I am in a more comfortable, cozy situation. So how can I not be compassionate? How can I not be helping? So compassion or help comes from love. Love comes from having a relationship. So bhakti is having a relationship with Krishna. This relationship in terms of our Vedas has been defined as bhakti. So bhakti is not just something which is meant for people staying in some remote places in some temples and doing their own bhajan. No, bhakti is
Right.
applicable on the field. It can be practiced day in and out in our professional careers, in our household situation also. Not that for practicing bhakti one has to wear a dress like me or take a hairstyle like me. Anyone and everyone can take to bhakti. And the way to do it is by practicing the principles which are highlighted in Bhagavad Gita.
Ah, thank you so much, Prabhuji. It was like, seriously, it was a wonderful conversation. I love it. I don't want to stop it, but yeah, my time does not permit this, to go ahead. But definitely, I'll again come back to you. I'll again invite you, and we'll talk much more about Bhagavad Gita.
Sure.
Pranam, Prabhu ji, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much. It was really good.
Thanks a lot. And I hope that audience will also love the conversation, the podcast. They'll got to know many things about Bhagavad Gita. And I hope that whoever watching this, please go and try to learn things, try to read Bhagavad Gita in whatever language you want. Okay, please do it. Thank you so much. I hope you have got a lot of value from this episode. If you do so, please like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe and follow Braino Script in different social media handles. If you have any suggestion for us, please let us know in the comment box down below. I would like to thank Radhapada Dasa once again for being with us, sharing so much insight and knowledge about Bhagavad Gita. We will try to implement it in our life. Thank you so much. I would like to thank audience as well. Thank you so much, audience, for being with me till this point. Thank you so much. I hope that you like this video, and I want to see every one of you in the next episode as well. Till then, bye-bye.